Good evening. Welcome to service. I'm Mark Moody. I'm sitting in for Cody Lee Williams, and we're here to bring you our weekly hour of devotion, sometimes a little longer than an hour. I think we went for 3.5 hours last week, breaking our record. Wow. So an hour or more of devotion to the house and technoculture of Los Angeles and abroad. Service is brought to you by Shout Drive. You can view our video cast live through YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, Groovio, and of course through the source online at shoutdrive.com. We're also on Twitch this evening. In the studio with me tonight is Theo. Theo, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing really good too. Thanks for asking. It's nice to have you in here. You found the place.
Yes.
I don't know if you have an ex-military background, but this place is pretty hard to find.
It was,
and you just showed up, and you're like, "Sup? What's going on, guys?"
I just don't mind walking into random, places.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario,
they'll tell me to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Probably pretty politely.
Yeah.
Preferably not with a firearm.
Yeah, hopefully.
So it's great to have you here, and you've piqued our curiosity. I read that you've been DJing since a very young age, since you were like 13 years old.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Because that's young.
It is young. So, I'm 44, so when I was 13, it was the mid-'80s, and for me, it was where I lived. I grew up in L.A.
Okay.
I was born in Hollywood, grew up in L.A., but I went to junior high and high school in the suburbs in the valley in West Covina, San Gabriel Valley. And in the mid-'80s, late '80s, and there was a party crew culture especially in the San Gabriel Valley or San Fernando Valley, where there's backyard parties, these flyer parties where I have all these crews. So where I lived, there was DJs everywhere. So there was a DJ across the street and a DJ around the corner and a DJ down the street. So it was just very common for people my age in my neighborhood to get you were either breakdancing or you were DJing. And I wasn't a very good break dancer, so I became a DJ kind of by default.
So sitting around is not a thing.
Yeah, so I was like, you got to do something.
People were busy back in the 80s. Yeah.
I was fascinated by, the DJing itself and manipulating records and being able to, kind of just put two and two together. And so I kind of fell into it and started DJing like freestyle and doing backyard parties in high school. And then when I started listening to house and techno when I was in high school. But then when I graduated high school in 91 is when I went to my first rave.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, exactly. So since I've already been DJing for a while, and when I went to my first rave, it was kind of like, well, I have to do this. This is, because it was so different than what I was familiar with. It was more like the DJ was put on this pedestal. It was like, almost like church, to the masses,
Yep.
So for me, it was like, I got to be involved. I got to get into this. So that was February of 92, and a month later, I had my first gig, which was at La Casa, which was a very, used up venue back in the day. And it was actually his party. So Coco, my buddy Coco here, who's sitting there.
Hey, how you doing?
He was the first person who actually booked me to do a party. Now, the funny story is, back in the day, there wasn't, emails and websites and all that stuff. So what I would do, all these flyers had voicemails. So what I would do is I'd call the voicemail up, and I'd have a mixtape on a boombox, and I'd play my mixtape over the voicemail. And I'm like, hey, I'm Theo, I'm a new DJ, I'm just trying to get into the scene, and here's some of what I do. And so I would play some of my music over the and leave it on a voicemail. And this guy actually called me back.
That's awesome.
That was my first gig.
That's pretty clever of you, too. That's like taking cold calling to the next level.
It was definitely like a cold calling, because we didn't have the means to communicate readily like we do now, where it's just like a flyer has a ton of email addresses and websites. So we just kind of had to make do with what we had.
Yeah, I just experienced this. So, I'm pretty young, okay? And forgive me, I'm like naive also, but I just experienced this for the first time last year, was exactly what you were talking about, where I PayPal'd money to some mysterious email address, and then it got like old school. Then it was somebody who like called me up with directions.
Right.
And they're like, you're gonna get off at this exit here. And that was a late, weird night.
Oh,
that was an interesting.
But those
night.
are the best nights.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that left an impression.
Yeah, well, for my first party,
cool.
there was a Map Point in Hollywood, and you bought your ticket, and the ticket, the information after you purchased the ticket was very vague. So we asked the security guard there, and he was like, "Oh, just go east." What? Just go east? What does that mean? And then we ended up at the Pantry.
See you in Florida.
In downtown LA. There was a limo parked across the street from the Pantry that you went and got your directions from. And on the directions it said, "This is a Madonna video release party."
Wow.
They wanted to make sure that if the cops came, it was like, "Oh no, this is a legitimate event." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it just led you over to the Casa, which was being, pretty much where all the raves were almost during that time.
Oh, so it was not affiliated with Madonna at all. That was a sham.
No.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff was like,
Sorry,
we're
I'm
doing
slow.
a video rap party, or we're doing
wink.
Yes, exactly. Wink, wink.
That's great. That's awesome. So let's talk about your young age a little bit, and thanks for sharing info about how you got started, because that's really cool.
No problem.
It's one of the things that I love about Service, whether I'm hosting it or when Cody or somebody else is hosting it and I'm sitting over in the corner. I just love being here because I love hearing about people like you who have been influencing the dance music culture in LA for a long time. I think you're well established. I respect the hell out of that.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, absolutely. That. And now, as I'm kind of becoming more discerning, you're the kind of person that I gravitate toward out there. Is
Oh, thank you.
Let's go with the adults. Someone I can trust. So that's great. So it's an honor to have you here. When you first started DJing when you were 13, say 14, when you got your first couple gigs. Was it always dance music? Was it always house and techno?
No, when I first started DJing, it was mainly hip hop and freestyle music.
Yeah, right.
So it was definitely dance music. You're doing backyard parties. You're trying to get people to get up and dance. And when I first started getting in DJing in the rave scene in '92, is when I kind of got into the chill out room. And that was a very, they used to have at every party, there used to be a chill out room.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the UK, that was a big thing. It was like, because you couldn't dance all night, you did your drugs, you want to be able to sit down and, relax for a little bit. And so they had these chill out rooms, and the LA scene kind of embraced it for a little bit, and I really started getting into down tempo and ambient and trip hop, and so I started, there was a big giant rave in 1994 that was used for a movie, and they filmed it in downtown LA. It's for the movie Strange Days.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, so they actually had a giant rave in the middle of downtown LA, and
funded by Hollywood money.
Funded by
that's cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
Come shut this down.
Yeah,
sucker.
I think it was one of the first times and only times it's ever happened, but it was pretty awesome. But I was DJing ambient music in a street corner. And I remember these helicopters because they were trying to make it was supposed to be New Year's Eve, so that was the scene. So they kept dropping confetti.
Oh, okay.
And I'm playing vinyl.
No.
And there's confetti just pouring down on me.
You're just like.
Yeah, exactly. It was
yeah, no.
Yeah, but yeah, no. As far as different styles of music, I was definitely into the dance stuff, but I also wanted. And we were kind of talking about this earlier about mixtapes, and that when there was a mixtape culture, DJs could actually do different types of mixes and do stuff that they were really into. Like I was really into. I'm really into Aphex Twin and Musique and Black Dog and Octecker and stuff. You probably if you're feeling ambitious, could play on a dance floor, but sometimes it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
But it's stuff that I love and enjoy, and I want to mix. So that's why putting stuff like on mixtapes and creating it was always kind of a fun way to do that and distribute it out to people and get people into different styles of music rather than just the straight up house or the straight up techno or the straight up dance floor stuff.
Yeah, right on. I went to a thing last night that's probably way more ambient than what you're talking about, because there's no dancing happening at this thing. But you ever heard of a thing called Chill Hella?
No, that sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, it was cool. It was in Skid Row,
nice.
Which is cool, I guess.
It can be.
But yeah, it was a cool event. I met some nice people, and but it was like non-synthesized ambient stuff.
Okay.
It was like our talk bed on this show,
Now, were they encouraging you to relax?
Yeah, it was like a relaxed centric event.
Because there used to be these parties in the East Coast called Cloud Watch. And what they would do is invite people to bring sleeping bags.
Okay.
And people
all right.
would just play, ambient music and chill out stuff and let people sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a new experience for me. I was like, wait, okay. But I could tell by the description, beforehand. But it was just like we were talking about it. It was like send money off this mysterious place, get directions an hour before it starts. It's kind of in this area-ish.
I would love to do something like that where you're just focused on people relaxing.
Yeah.
There's
and the visuals and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the visuals were done like with oils and projectors, like analog style.
Oh, like
and
back
it
in the
was
day.
gorgeous
Nice.
stuff. So, I mean, I was there sober, and my mind was blown. So,
There's a composer. His name is Max Richter. He did a lot of stuff for the show Black Mirror.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he came out with an album 2 years ago called Sleep, and it's 8 hour long. So it's supposed to be how you're supposed to listen to it while you're sleeping. But he did live concerts of it, and what it was he actually invited people to spend the night.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I
so
love
basically it's him and a couple of violinists, a couple of other instrumentalists, and they perform this entire suite while you're sleeping. So
That's awesome.
That kind of stuff is totally intriguing to me. It's because it's so different than what people are used to.
Yeah, it's way off the beaten path, and it's intriguing also.
But
That's cool.
Chillchella?
Yeah, Chillhella.
Chillhella.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it's cool. I want to say maybe, there were 50 people there in a warehouse, a good crowd, and so that was pretty cool.
I have to check that.
Shout out to those
people. Very
people.
interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, we're moving slowly through here, but I love it. I'm really enjoying talking to you.
Yeah, me
so
too.
Thanks. Back to the young age stuff,
Sure.
and then I'll get over it, okay? But because I'm like, holy crap, 13 is so young.
I was young. My mom and my aunt bought me I was actually having this conversation with my mom 2 days ago. We were at dinner, and I was talking to my 14-year-old niece, who it was her birthday. And they were trying to ask her what you want to do with college, and those types of conversations. So it's like, and I was telling my niece, I was like, because she plays the ukulele and she sings, and she has a wonderful voice, and I'm very proud of her artistically. She's doing these amazing little YouTube videos and all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I told her, I said, follow your passions while you can.
Yep.
While you're young enough, follow your passions.
Yep.
And and I looked to my mom, who was sitting right next to me, and I said, your grandmother bought me my first turntables, and over 30 years ago. And I bet she didn't think I would still be doing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's
she was
cool
like,
that
"No,
she
I didn't."
encouraged you. Yeah, even back then, and that's part of like parenting. It's but yeah, we could talk about that for another hour anyway. But yeah, we put a lot of pressure on kids to like, well, you have to know exactly what you're going to do.
And I think,
you got a direction in life. Not really.
If music is your passion, you should indulge yourself as if you can.
Yeah.
If you're just go out and you fall and fail and learn and grow while you're doing it and enjoy every moment of it. Because I was fortunate enough to live off music for a number of years, and it's a stressful lifestyle. It's feast or famine.
Yeah.
It's an artistic lifestyle, but you gain a lot of insight from it. You know what your limitations are.
Yeah, a lot of fulfillment.
Oh,
and
definitely.
People in the industry smell that from a mile away too. They know why you're there.
Yeah.
They know if you're there to try and work your way up the ladder and get rich, or if you're there because you just can't
You
get
have the
enough of
passion.
it. Absolutely, yeah.
The only problem with that is when you turn what your interests are or what your love into a form of payment, is that it becomes a job.
Yeah.
And you find yourself compromising your art to pay bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the only unfortunate part, is that you become, more of, I got to go out and DJ, even if it's not something I would want to do, or play stuff I wouldn't want to do because I have to.
And it's
pay your rent.
It's like, what is the definition of selling out anyway?
Right.
But that's another hour-long
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely.
Yeah. Also, rest in peace, Avicii. I'm not bringing that up because I just brought up the term sellout. He's a good kid, and he really, he worked hard to stay true to himself, and that's the thing that happened this week.
That's very
unfortunate.
Yeah. You got these young kids who are out, this whole EDM lifestyle and being able to play for these huge crowds. It's amazing, and I look in awe to what the scene has become, what Pasquale and other people like him have turned. What we used to do as far as 200 people in a dirty warehouse, now it's like 200,000 people in a 3-day festival.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Shout out to EDC. I'll be there next month.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
I'll see you there.
So see you at EDC.
Yeah.
I played the first EDC, and to me, it's like the fact that it's started where it started and it is where it is now. It's amazing. But yeah, these kids who are out performing, just learn to maintain and keep chill for a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't burn out too bright.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can burn out, and all of the bad habits are very available to you.
Oh, yes.
And that's
Yes.
that makes it rough.
I mean, unfortunately, and this is, for me, I was straight edge for a long time.
Yeah.
And I never really got into the scene because of the drugs. To me, it was always about the music. But
Same.
The truth is that drugs are a huge part of the scene.
Yeah.
And there's no way of avoiding that. And so, but if you're an artist, really, what are you there for? What are you about?
Yeah.
What motivates you? It should definitely not be the substances. It should be the music. So.
I totally agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. The straight edge thing,
but, but if you have an addictive personality, it's unfortunately that's going to be a part of this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and we're not saying that's what happened with Avicii. Like, this conversation started because I said that. I don't want anybody out there to get confused.
No. I mean, there's definitely known things about him that was already kind of put out.
He was very transparent about that. Yeah. He was like, "Hey, I'm giving into some bad habits, and I need to get out of this, to stay alive, like for my health." And I respect that.
That's a very bold move.
And it's so
we
sad
don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, and we don't know what happened. I think he had a heart thing going on and stuff too. But unfortunately,
either way, it's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess we'll end on that note for now. At the end of your set, we'll talk about upcoming gigs,
sure,
and what you're working on. You're working on some pretty exciting stuff. You got like a kind of throwbacky release we were talking about in old format.
Yeah. So just really quick,
plug it. Go ahead.
So back in 97, 98, I did 2 mixtapes. One was called Alien Abduction, and one was called Alien Voyage.
Mm-hmm.
And I always intended for it to be a trilogy. I always wanted there to be 3 tapes to it. But I never got around to making the third one. So that was 98, so 20 years ago. So now, 20 years later, and now that mixtapes, along with vinyl, have made a resurgence, or cassette tapes in general. I decided to work with Ken from Pure Acid Mixtapes, who used to be the guy who used to sell mixtapes at all the raves back in the day. And we're going to co-produce this release together. For the end of this trilogy. So I'm calling it Alien Arrival, and it's a psytrance Goa a mix, and which is fun because it's not my typical style. I mainly play kind of house and tech house and techno now. So to kind of revisit what I used to play in the past and do something new with it was a lot of fun. And now with DJing, it's so much different because, back then it was just all records. And now I have, samplers that I can use and synths that I can put in.
Yeah.
So I was able to actually, it's not just playing the music, it's actually adding to the music.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like how you've stayed true to yourself and incorporated some of the technology. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, and I really like the hybrid DJing stuff where so I have pretty much the same setup but with the XDJs and the Nexus 2 mixer, but I also have the AS1, which is the analog synth that Pioneer came out with last year, and the DJS 1000, which is their sampler. And so basically now I can actually create stuff on the fly.
On the fly, that's great.
With the DJ.
That's awesome. We're going to have you back, and we'll get all that stuff rigged up over here.
Let's do it.
We're going to I don't know how. We'll
it's
cram
really
it in
easy.
there.
Really easy.
We'll do the thing. All right, well, before we get started, anybody you want to give a shout-out to?
Coco, sitting right here.
Yeah,
He's first. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here.
That's awesome.
So I always got to give respect to him, and of course, my beautiful wife, who I met at a rave 21 years ago.
That's so great.
So I got to say hello to Kim.
Okay, I need to get your advice on that soon, but
we'll talk. That's an off-air conversation.
All right, well, let's get in the mix with Theo on Service on Shout Drive.
usually write while I'm like doing something totally unrelated. Like sometimes I may talk to my girlfriend and my mind may drift, you know, and then I'm hearing a song, I usually write while I'm like doing something totally unrelated. Like sometimes I may talk to my girlfriend and my mind may drift, you know, and then I'm hearing a song, like this, and the horns go like this, 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 like this, and the horns go like this.
saying Prince is making a comeback. What am I coming back to? People are saying Prince is making a comeback. What am I coming back to?
set up to set it off, that kill it off, then melt it off, throw the poisonous vibe off, to set it off, that kill it, then melt it off, I'll snatch it right off of your off of you. Off to set it off, that kill it, then melt it off. I'll snatch it right off of you, right off of you, right off of you. I'll snatch it right off of you. Snatch. Snatch. I'll snatch it right off of you. Right off of you. Set it off. I'll snatch it right off of you. Set it off. Set it off.
I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. President. He said if you vote for me, I promise to deliver you even more bass, even more soul, longer hours on the dance floor. DJs who believe as we believe. If you vote for me, I will take you to the mountaintop, and there the whole world will see the glorious light of this nation. That is house. You see, people, house is more than a nation. House is a feeling. House is a sanctuary. House is a release. All night long. House, 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 If house is a nation, I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. If house is a nation, I wanna be president. President. All night long. floors just a little bit stronger, so y'all can stop y'all feet.
Show me how to move your booty. 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 Show me how to move your b
Kitchen. Get out of the fucking kitchen. Fucking kitchen. Get out of the fucking kitchen. Get out of the fucking kitchen. kitchen. Wait, how are we just starting it?
So imagine you're like cooking, you're like faster with a frying pan, right?
Alright.
That was fun.
All right, that was a trip. Theo in the studio on Shout Drive.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. That was an awesome set. I think everybody in the room enjoyed every minute of it.
Cool.
And I don't need to exaggerate. I have no reason to sell anybody on this. That was fun.
Thank you.
My mom wrote in.
And so did mine. So my mom was like, "Oh, that's my boy." I saw her posting. I checked my phone really quick. I saw, "Oh, hey, my mom's listening." That's awesome.
Oh, well, shout out to moms.
Hey, Mom.
And Mother's Day is in a few weeks, so
Yes.
we'll shout out to them, but we won't go overboard. Not right now. No, that was awesome, man. And
Thank
that's
you.
Morgan here was kind of calling it. There were like kind of AC Slater type sounds in there.
Yes.
Kind of like the night bass sound.
Yeah.
Which is
a couple
so
of
cool.
the last tracks were night-based tracks.
That's awesome. I worked on a night bass show last year, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I just signed up to work it. And it ended up being like a bunch of those guys, Jack Beats and stuff.
Yeah.
And I discovered a whole new sub
Of the bass house
genre.
stuff,
Oh
yeah.
my god, yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's okay. So, like, I never know what I'm going to do until I do it. So, like, I have no ever pre-planned, like, oh, I'm going to play this and I'm going to play that.
So you went with your gut this whole time.
So,
that you
no,
were
yeah,
here.
to me, it's like, I'm just going to play what I like to hear on a Sunday.
Yeah, right.
So, and I don't think of genres when I'm DJing. I just kind of, because I like so many different genres. I think genres are good for categories, not necessarily good for just being, I'm a so-and-so DJ.
Yeah,
I'm a put me in this hole. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I understand purists, and I understand, I'm only about house music, and I get that. If you're a purist, I have nothing but respect for that. That's just not how I do it. I've been a trance DJ, I've been a techno DJ, I've been a house DJ, I even love drum and bass. So I'm just going to play what I love.
Totally.
And so to me, when a good DJ, when I first started, DJing and in the scene, and I was young, I was 18, and I had a chance to talk to Tony Largo, who was like an old school, back in the 80s DJ, and he's still, doing some stuff now. And when I had the opportunity to talk to him, I asked him what the most important part of DJing is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said programming. And I never knew what that meant until later, until when you get the experience and actually can, kind of tell a story with music. So to me, when I DJ, I really try to at least tell somewhat of a story, or at least kind of put you on a little bit of a journey, even if it's just, like from the beginning, I kind of had like this melodic kind of dreamy kind of stuff going on, and then it just kind of went funky from there. I played a Prince song because.
Yeah,
rest
that was
in peace,
awesome. Yeah.
Because he had passed away 2 years ago yesterday. So it's like I want to be able to kind of convey my emotions when I'm DJing as well. So
Yeah, take a nod. A little bit of a nod of appreciation.
Of course, especially to Prince, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan has some history and a strong appreciation for Prince.
We
That
could talk for days.
That could be another hour-long conversation. But yeah, you should chat with him about that at some point. Well, thanks for coming in here and telling a story and coming in. It was a high-energy story, and but again, with a nod to Prince, and there were moments where it kind of came down in energy a little bit, and you brought it back up, and I really enjoyed that a lot.
I always like to play with energy.
That's great.
To me, when I'm DJing at a show, it's like, if I always want to feel like I'm about to lose the crowd, because that, to me, that little
Edging.
danger zone.
You're always edging.
is like, okay, it's like, if I push it this far, because that to me, I feel alive. It's really easy to play safe stuff. It's really easy to play stuff that everyone loves.
Yeah, we can all pay money for Beatport. Well, that's not. But maybe that's a website too. Beatport Top 20. But that's whatever. It's too easy.
It's
obvious.
It's me. That's being a jukebox rather than a DJ.
Yeah.
And to each their own. Some people love just the songs they want to hear.
Yeah.
And that they love, and I get that. But to me, when I was growing up, when I was discovering the rave scene and discovering DJs, it was always you went out to hear music you couldn't hear anywhere else.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm kind of sad that that's turned into I want to hear my favorite songs, like a concert kind of setting.
Yeah.
Where it was a place of discovery, where it was a place where you're like, I'm never going to hear this music unless I go out to a rave.
Yeah. Well, and the whole music industry has changed its methodology also. Like, people don't need to rely on DJs, to like break tracks
music,
anymore.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, they're like, oh my god, I listened to Tiesto's new song on Spotify this
right,
morning.
Right, yeah.
And
YouTube has become the new place where people discover music.
Yeah, I mean, as people here in this room who program, dance music, there are times where we're on the wrong end of that too. We go, man, they dropped it out on these other sources, and now they're sending promos to the industry people. So it's just. Yeah, it's changed. But, dude, despite all that, you came in here and kicked ass, and I appreciate that a lot.
Appreciate
so much fun. And you could have gone for 3 hours, and I wouldn't have said
I wouldn't
have said a damn thing.
Maybe I'm coming home for dinner, so don't worry.
I would have just kept dancing if you went for 3 hours, So let's talk about some upcoming gigs. You have a lot going on. You're a very busy guy.
I am. So this next weekend, I'm flying to Portland for work, which is fun because Portland's awesome.
Yeah.
And then coming back on Wednesday, then I drive out on Friday to Slinky. So for those not familiar with Slinky, Slinky is kind of like this outdoor forest party in the middle of sequoias, and it's kind of a meeting of the tribes because a lot of people from the Bay Area and NorCal scenes come down, and a lot of people from SoCal come up, and it's kind of just this camping 2-day, 3-day thing where it's just a beautiful time. And we got Wally Calario coming back for his second time, and DJ Dan is headlining on Friday night, and one of my favorite parties of the year. So I'm looking forward to this weekend to go back to the forest and play for the Slinkies. And then I'm going to be at EDC. I'm playing actually for the Camp OG.
Okay.
So.
Oh no! It's not a stage exclusive to the camp.
No.
Okay.
Actually,
good,
I'm not the party, from what I heard. And it's kind of like when I DJed at EDC 2 years ago, I did one of the art cars, but I also did this like pop-up rave in the middle of that you had to have a password to get into, and it was kind of a unique idea. And
That's cool.
It was nice because it was like minus 50 in there compared to the rest of the party. It was nice and air conditioned, and people loved that.
Right on.
So supposedly it's inside the party, and I heard there's some really special guests going to be there. I'm looking forward to that. We got all the Relove parties. So Relove used to happen every month, and we've kind of pared it back, and I think this is a really good idea because there's a lot of other crews doing park parties now.
Yeah.
And a way for Relove to remain kind of special is to kind of limit it a bit.
Sure,
so we're going to be doing it every quarter. And the last one that happened a couple of weeks ago was at Hanson Dam. The vibe was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
I've been to a few Reloves. I've enjoyed every single one.
It's a good time.
It's like the finest crowd you can find.
Yeah.
I like
very family,
very family.
chill.
There are like kids running around, and everybody's there for the music, and just people are so friendly.
Yeah.
I love those things to death.
It's one of the park parties are definitely one of my favorite things right now, just because it's a way to still play music but not have it be like about going out all night and like getting I have a night drink now and then, but I don't want to party all night and then wake up and go to a park party. But so it's kind of nice just to have these events that are kind of more kid or family or adult friendly, and not just some weekend shenanigans in a different way.
And I think like if you're in it for the music, like we are, then the surrounding doesn't really matter a whole lot.
Definitely.
You could be like stuck in an elevator. If that stuff's playing, you're enjoying your ass off. Right?
Yep.
So we got Reloves coming up that have changed a little bit.
Yes.
Quarterly. All right, cool. Less work for Jonathan Stubbs, Clarity Audio. Shout out to that guy. A lot of work goes into those things.
Oh, it's quite the. Tony, my buddy Tony Gamboa, he really, along with Brett, really kind of do all the production and management of it, and it's a lot of work. So big ups to both of those guys for keeping Relove going, and PJ Yates, who's also doing a lot of the leg work now. So we're going to put Relove on other things, like we just did an after hours last weekend, which was really fun. More of a nighttime thing, and we're, other people are contacting us to like, hey, can we do a Relove kind of hosted event, that type of thing.
Very cool. It's become a brand.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's why we're trying to, when we do our own park parties, kind of keep them more special.
Well, sometime I'll tell you about how I met Brett Wallace in a hospital, and that's how I met him the first time. But we'll
unfortunately,
we'll
he's visited many.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's had some health scares, but luckily he's definitely doing a lot better these days. So.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your upcoming mixtape, and then we'll wrap up, and then we'll let you go get dinner. I promise.
Whatever. It's all good.
Or wait a second. Maybe we'll find a way to keep you here all night.
Oh, wow.
So,
we are behind a restaurant. I could eat here.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about this mixtape you've been working on.
So, yes.
Plug that again.
So, basically, mixtapes are a dead art form, but since vinyl has come back and cassettes are now coming back, me and Ken from Pure Acid have decided to actually do a brand new mixtape. So, and to make it more special, what we're doing is providing, if you purchase a mixtape when it becomes available, it's like $11, $12, something like that. You'll get a secret link that actually gives you more content.
That's awesome.
So it's so there's going to be two 45-minute side, and then if you purchase it, you'll get another extra side that's not available on the cassette that you can have. And we're just going to try to make it special. And if it works, I'm going to keep doing them because I enjoy. We were talking earlier that it used to be where a DJ could be more creative with mixtapes because you would play things that you normally wouldn't play because you were not concerned with the dance floor. There was no dance floor to concern yourself with, so you didn't have to play dance music. It could range, it could go all over the place. And some of my favorite tapes, I did tape 94 called Sunset on Venus. I mean, it went from trance to drum and bass to trip hop and it was one of my favorites because it just was varied. It told the story. And I think without that, right now I'm just posting up my live mixes. So I pretty much record everything when I'm a DJ, and I post them up regularly on my SoundCloud and Mixcloud, which is fun. But it's not. Since they're live sets, they're dance floor oriented, and it's all about the set. So at least, with this, I got to actually breathe a little bit, be a little bit more creative. And what's nice about it is that DJing has changed a lot in the 20 years that I've did my last mixtape. So now I can add my own samples and add my own synthesizers and basically not just mix the music, but actually impart my own stuff, my own sound into those tracks as well, and kind of come up with new tracks in some respect.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be keeping my eyes and ears out for it, and we can learn about that by following you on social media.
Yes, just follow me.
What are your favorite social networking sites?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram mainly. I don't tweet too much because I just have it tied to my Instagram.
Okay.
Maybe I should go and tweet more.
So I need to keep an eye on you on Instagram.
Yes.
What's your Instagram username?
Theo. Just THEEO.
Very nice. That's very simple.
Just go to
I love it.
DJTheo.com, and I blog and I tell stories, and I'm random. So if you want to know more about me, just follow me and get to know me. I'm pretty accessible and easy to get along with. I'll let you try.
Well, thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it a lot.
Oh, and we're going to talk about Record Store Day.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Educate us.
So, yeah. Yesterday was Record Store Day, and I love Record Store Day, and it's awesome. And I went to Dr. Freeclouds, and I got there early in the morning to get in line because I'm a huge Cure fan. And they came out with 2 new releases. One of them is an older release that was back from 1990. It was called Mixed Up, and it was a remix compilation that they came out with. And actually, Paul Oakenfold did a lot of the remixes on there. And so they came out and released that. Then they released a new thing where Robert Smith did all these new remixes of his back catalog. So he did one track from each of the Cure's albums, and I listened to it for the first time this morning, and it was pretty blown away. It was very, very cool. But yes, Record Store Day is awesome. Vinyl is awesome. Although I don't DJ on vinyl regularly, I highly suggest that if you are an upcoming DJ, that although this setup is great, the CDJs and the XDJs and the controllers and all of that is great, but there's nothing like a tactile vinyl set and being able to manipulate records and bring them together. And and if you're starting off, and I know the price to get into any of this can be a little bit prohibitive, but if you have a friend with turntables, if you can get access to turntables, by all means, really should just play vinyl. And yesterday I went to Freak-Oz, like I said, and somebody brought in a couple thousand drum and bass records.
Whoa.
Like a huge catalog of drum and bass records. Now, I'm not a drum and bass DJ, but I love drum and bass.
Same here, yeah.
Yeah. Especially the LTJ, Bookham, good-looking, very intelligent, jazzy kind of stuff, or what they call liquid now.
Liquid drum and bass.
Yes.
DMB.
I'm all about that stuff. And so I went for a couple of releases. I ended up buying a huge box of drum and bass records.
Right on.
And yesterday I did a mix impromptu in my studio, Facebooked it live, and just played drum and bass.
Awesome. That's great.
So
okay, so we need to
sets.
definitely keep our eyes on you on social media.
Yes.
And we'll do that. I think we're going to wrap up our show, but before we pull the plug on tonight's service, I should acknowledge all the people who make this show possible. Your regular host, Cody Lee Williams, Jesse Wright, and Morgan Vreeland sitting next to me. Here she is. Camera. She engineered this evening's show and
awesome.
and other shows, and is just doing so well, and we're really happy to have you here, Morgan. Thank you. Shout Drive co-founder Alan Freed over there on the couch. He's sitting around, but he's working his ass off over there too. It's a concern or a concentrate effort. And a big thank you to you for joining us on Service. You can catch us here most Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and stay connected with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ShoutDriveSundays. Thanks for watching, and as Cody says, until next week, remember to love each other. Thanks for coming, Theo.
Thank you.
Thank you.